Hey, it's TED Talks about acting, and I want to talk about learning your lines, and it's a gigantic subject. I'll try to keep it brief. What we teach at Sideways Studios, where I teach, is something called triggering. Triggering is basically understanding the moment-to-moment movement of thoughts. Why we're saying the things we're saying when we say them. What causes us to say the next thing? What causes you to say the next thing? By understanding that moment-to-moment movement, we're hopefully absorbing the text rather than memorizing it. We don't have to memorize everything. You don't have to memorize text within an inch of its life so that if you God forbid you forget, what are you gonna do? Because that gets us right back to that thing I was talking about before, which is fear. Let's avoid fear when we're learning how to act. Let's avoid writing down crazy acronyms to remember lines. Let's avoid singing our lines, and let's avoid putting them on tape and listening while we fall asleep. None of that gets to understanding more about character and what you're saying and why you're saying it and what follows next. We can break it all down for you at Sideways Studios, where I teach, and Michael Caine talks about it in his book on film acting. If you've ever felt like you're in a play where you've done a speed through 2 hours before you go up and it felt like that was ultimately really silly and really based on fear, well, you're right. You know the play. You know the character you're playing. You know the people you're going to interact with. Why are we running the entire play really fast and saying our lines as fast as we can 2 hours before we go on stage? It makes no sense because it's based on fear. There's a different way to absorb your lines and to be acting, and instead of worrying, what's my line, oh shit, what's my line, instead of having those thoughts, you're having thoughts like, boy, he's really making me angry. What do I want to say next? If you start triggering, you're gonna find yourself having more fun acting. You're gonna find yourself more in the moment. Hey, I just want to add one addendum to triggering. I'm talking about using triggering as the way to learn your lines for everything. From the play you're gonna do 6 months from now, to the scene you're working on in class, to the audition you have tomorrow for the Mindy project, to the audition you have tomorrow for Ford or Cheerios. I'm talking about using triggering as a way to be less scared, to be more grounded, to be more in the moment. Give it a fair chance, and I promise you, triggering can change your life as an actor. All right, thanks. Talk to you soon.